The soft glow of candlelight reflected across the windows of one of Manhattan's most elegant restaurants as Evelyn Brooke sat alone at a table prepared for two. At 52, she had built one of America's most successful logistics companies from the ground up, earning the respect of investors, competitors, and business leaders across the country. Yet none of her achievements could fill the silence that surrounded her tonight. For the first time in years, she had accepted a blind date after persistent encouragement from her closest friends. She arrived early, dressed with quiet elegance rather than extravagance, hoping this evening might mark the beginning of a new chapter beyond boardrooms and business deals. 20 minutes passed, then 30. The waiter politely refilled her glass of water while discreetly asking whether she wished to order. Evelyn glanced at the entrance each time the door opened, only to realize every newcomer was someone else finally. Her phone vibrated with a brief message. Her date apologized, claiming an unexpected emergency had come up and he would not be coming a few moments later. Evelyn noticed his social media profile had been updated with photos from a sporting event across town. The excuse had been a lie. He had simply chosen not to show up. Though she maintained her composure, the disappointment settled quietly behind her smile. Around the dining room, a few curious guests whispered to one another, assuming they knew the story. At another table sat Ryan Carter, a 38-year-old widowed father, enjoying dinner with his 10-year-old daughter Emma. Ryan worked as a middle school history teacher in Brooklyn, living a modest life centered on raising his daughter with kindness, honesty, and respect. Emma noticed the woman sitting alone before Ryan did. She quietly leaned toward her father and whispered, "Dad, I think that lady has been waiting for someone for a long time." Ryan looked across the room and immediately understood what had happened. He hesitated, not wanting to intrude on a stranger's privacy. But Emma gently reminded him of something he had taught her many times. Kindness often begins with a simple conversation. Gathering his courage, Ryan walked over to Evelyn's table with a warm, respectful smile. He apologized for interrupting and introduced himself. Before speaking softly, "My daughter and I couldn't help noticing that you're dining alone. If you're comfortable with it, we'd be honored if you joined us instead. No one should have to spend an evening like this by themselves." Evelyn looked first at Ryan, then at Emma's hopeful smile. There was no pity in their expressions, only genuine warmth. After a brief pause, she accepted the invitation with quiet gratitude. As she carried her plate to their table, none of the other diners realized they were witnessing the beginning of an extraordinary friendship, one built not on wealth, status, or appearances, but on simple human kindness at exactly the right moment as dinner continued. The awkwardness that usually follows introductions quickly disappeared. Ryan Carter treated Evelyn Brooks exactly as he treated every other person he met, with patience, respect, and genuine curiosity. Emma happily chatted about school, her love of reading, and her dream of becoming an architect one day. Evelyn found herself smiling more than she had in months. She was accustomed to business dinners filled with negotiations, compliments designed to gain favors, and conversations centered on money. Tonight felt completely different. Ryan never asked what kind of car she drove, where she lived, or how successful she was instead. He listened carefully whenever she spoke, making her feel valued simply as a person as dessert arrived. Ryan noticed that Evelyn occasionally became quiet whenever the conversation turned toward family. He gently asked if she had children. She smiled sadly and admitted that life had become so consumed by building her company that she had never started a family. She explained that every important relationship eventually faded because people either feared her success or became more interested in her wealth than in who she truly was, although she rarely admitted such feelings to anyone. Tonight she found herself speaking honestly to a man she had known for less than an hour. Ryan listened without interrupting, offering understanding instead of advice. After a thoughtful silence, Ryan asked a simple question that no one had ever asked Evelyn before. "When was the last time someone cared about how you felt, instead of what you owned?" The words stopped her completely. She stared at her untouched coffee, searching for an answer that never came. Every relationship she remembered had involved business opportunities, financial expectations, or social status. Even tonight's blind date had likely disappeared after deciding she wasn't what he expected. Tears quietly formed in her eyes, not because of sadness alone, but because someone had finally looked beyond her title as a CEO. Ryan's question reminded her that genuine compassion could never be measured by success or wealth. Over the following weeks, Evelyn and Ryan stayed in touch, meeting occasionally for coffee, community events, and Emma's school activities. Their friendship grew naturally, built on honesty rather than appearances. Evelyn admired Ryan's devotion as a father, while Ryan respected Evelyn's determination and generosity beyond the corporate world. Inspired by Emma's passion for education, Evelyn invited Ryan to help lead a nationwide scholarship program through her company, providing opportunities for children from struggling families. Together, they transformed a painful evening into a meaningful partnership that countless young lives looking back. Evelyn realized that being left alone at that restaurant had not been the worst moment of her life. It had quietly led her to the people who valued her heart more than her success, proving that kindness often arrives when it is needed most.